All right, guys, welcome in. AJ, let's talk sports. This is Ohio State football recruiting. Got some updates for you guys, some Ohio State football news. Then we're going to get into some recruits, some players we've already talked about. Just going to give an overview, a kind of overcap of Ohio State football recruiting as of today, March 6, 2026. Going into the spring game next month, and who's ready for that? By the way, who's got tickets for that? Just go ahead and comment. If you got tickets, be like, got tickets. It's a wrap. And then if you got an extra one, holler at your boy. I'm going to go with you. But anyway, so I don't think I've ever been to a Ohio State football spring game. So we're going to get into it. Enough chit chat. Ohio State football hires staff member with ties to Arthur Smith. This is just reported just today, a couple hours ago, out of Columbus. Ohio State football has added Mateo Kambui. If I pronounce his name wrong, please forgive me. This is on 3, according to the report. Kambui will serve as an offensive line assistant. He's going to work alongside Coach Tyler Bowen. Now, Kambui, he has some ties with Arthur Smith, Ohio State's recently hired offensive coordinator. Now, the two first worked together a few years ago back in 2023 when Smith was the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, and Kambui served as an offensive line assistant. So they're going to bring him in with the same position, offensive line assistant under Tyler Bowen, but with ties to Arthur Smith. So that's exciting, right? I mean, come on. That's some updates coming out of Cleveland.com just a few hours ago. Now, according to Scarlet and Game, there's 3 offensive Ohio State football players that are on the clock coming in for the 2026 spring practices that are approaching, and the spring game is coming next month. So I just want to look and see just the names. Joshua Padilla. He's a right guard oh man, it cut me off, you son of a bee. I guess you have to have okay. So Joshua Padilla, he's going to be there. Josh Padilla was reportedly pushing Shabola for starting reps later in the year, but he kept getting hurt. But now the right guard spot is Padilla's to lose. Joshua Padilla at guard. Now Brandon Enos, he's a senior receiver. He was voted captain last year, and he's clearly someone the rest of the roster prospects for his hard work. However, Enos' production hasn't matched the level that he should. So the production hasn't been that well. Carnell Tate gone to the NFL. I want to know if he's in a top 5 NFL draft pick. Some people think he's going to go, crap, I can't remember. The Browns, I think. He might go to Cleveland. Not sure. Tavion St. Clair, that backup quarterback, where has he been? The 5-star former recruit supposedly should have been a Heisman finalist. Well, we don't know any of that yet. There's no shot that Tavion St. Clair starts at quarterback next season because of Julian Sain, the undisputed starter and Heisman finalist. And then a true freshman last year, he had no shot as well with Lincoln Kienholz. Now, Tavion St. Clair might be leaving because of that, but he's probably going to get the QB2 role depending on how the practices go for the upcoming season. I just wanted to give you some... I did a third one? I didn't do a third one, did I? Yes, I did. That was Tavion St. Clair. So there's your 3 offensive Ohio State football players. You got a guard, you got the wide receiver, and you got a possibly backup QB that could come in at times and help out Julian Sain if he starts playing bad. All right, taking a look at Ohio State recruiting as of today. They are 6th nationally and about 2 and 3 in the conference. Total signees about 27 to 28 players. Blue chips 64% are 4-star or higher and 5 stars. Headliners is Chris Henry, number 1 wide receiver in the class. We talked about him a week or so ago. 6'5", elite red zone target, son of the NFL wide receiver Chris Henry, by the way. He's considered the crown jewel of the class and can play early in Columbus. Get him a jersey signed him. I believe we already signed him, or he just verbally committed, but I think he's here for Ohio State football. Get him on the field. And then Kerry Wilder, the edge, we talked about him. Jay Timmons, the corner, he's top 40 nationally. Jaquaden Guilford, the wide receiver, he's fast rising. He's now a 4-star. I believe he was a 3. Now he's up to a 4. Then Sincere Johnson, the linebacker, we never talked about him yet, but he's an Ohio defensive prospect. Ohio State is loaded up and down on the defensive backs and pass rushers and wide receivers. So on offense, they got elite wide receiver talent and continue to go through the wide receiver pipeline. They develop QBs as well, and their offensive line depth. We just talked about a possible starter with Joshua, so he's going to be started on the guard spot. Defense, multiple edge rushers, several defensive backs, and a few interior defensive linemen as well. The defensive line recruiting continues the tradition under long-time Ohio State defensive line development. Now, Ohio State is locked in on a visit with a 5-star target right after it was predicted to lose another. This was today, updated news. Who is it? Who is the person that's going to be gone or possibly coming in? Ohio State football program hires an assistant coach. We just talked about him. McFarland is scheduled to take a visit to Columbus on June 12th. That is McFarland, Eric McFarland. On Wednesday, some tough news came in the rival Steve Wiltfong, putting in an official prediction for 5-star wideout Eric McFarland to commit to Texas A&M over Ohio State and others. So we're going to be losing him, but John Meredith is going to be coming in to visit. This is a 5-star corner. John Meredith has announced he has scheduled 4 official visits. One of those will be to Ohio State, and that's going to be on June 19th. So that's really good news. We lose McFarland, bring in John Meredith III, and hopefully we get him committed. 5-star wide receiver John Meredith has locked in his visit. He's the number 1 corner in the country according to 24/7 Composite and the number 2 player overall for the 2027 class. So hopefully we're going to bring this dude in because we lost the one dude, bring in the other dude, and then we just keep restacking and recycling through. Lose about how many we lose? 18 going into the NFL draft and just restock, reload, and that's how you get her done. Now, the 5-star corner targeted, we just talked about him. Ohio State is extending more offers and lining up major official visits as the staff keeps building as well. Get into that more later on here as the weeks come up. But the big picture here, the Buckeyes 2026 class is the top 10 nationally. They signed one of the best wide receiver prospects in the country, Chris Henry Jr. Defensive recruiting, especially edge and DB, is strong again. Now, when the transfer portal additions are included, I don't think the transfer portal is open yet. I doubt it. The overall incoming talent ranks around number 2 nationally for the 2026 roster additions. So here's the bottom line. Under Coach Day, he remains elite. He's an awesome recruiter. Don't have him play call, but he's an awesome recruiter. Now, the 2026 class isn't the number 1 class nationally, but it has deep depth and balance and a lot of blue chip talent potential for the upcoming season, especially at wide receiver and on defense. Our defense was stacked. Now, with a year under Julian Saing's belt and the pressure and the nerves and coming in, going to the Heisman finalist, they just snubbed him out, though. I really can't believe how many votes. He only had like a couple votes going into the Heisman race. That's sickening. Dude was like on top of all the statistics, had like an 80% completion percentage, and you can't take away from him. You got to throw the ball, even though he has raw wide receiver talent all over the field. He can throw it anywhere. Dude's dropping dimes. He gets the yards. He gets the throws. He made some good plays, excellent plays. I mean, I don't know. Whoever was on that committee was freaking stupid. So, kind of anxious to see how everything shapes up on the recruiting side, how the practices and the spring practice are going to look with the spring game coming up next month, and then kind of shaping for the next season, for the 2026-2027 season, and hopefully we do some damage and make it to the championship, because that's what's expected for Ohio State. All right, hope you guys enjoy the show. Love you guys. God bless. What do? You tip the way. Just bye.